Good afternoon, children. Today we are going to study active and passive voice. Now, what is active voice and what is passive voice? Active voice, like for example, in a sentence, if we are denoting what a person or what a subject is doing, we are focusing on what a person or a subject is doing, then it's a active voice. Then we say that the sentence is an active voice. For example, Ram helps Hari. So Ram is a subject over here. What is he doing? He is helping Hari. So Hari is a receiver who is receiving help from Ram. So Ram is the doer and Hari is the receiver. So Ram helps Hari. This sentence is active voice. The sentence is an active voice because the subject is doing something and receiver is receiving something. Over here we are focusing on subject. The main focus is on subject. Whereas the verb help is said to be in active voice because in the subject because the subject is doing something, and the verb is showing what the subject is doing. Verb is showing what the subject is doing, so the verb is said to be in active voice. Whereas if we say Hari is helped by Ram, Hari is helped by Ram. So over here, the verb is showing that the subject is receiving. The subject is receiving something. The subject is receiving help by the other person. Over here, Hari is being helped by Ram. So it's showing that something is done to a person. It's like something is being done. The subject is not doing something, it's being done. It's receiving something. So over here the verb helped is in passive voice. So when subject is doing something, it is active voice, and when the subject is receiving something, it is passive voice. Clear? When a verb is said to be in active voice when the subject is doing something, he or she is doing something, and whereas a verb is said to be in passive voice when it's receiving something. Clear? I hope this is clear. Active is doing, passive is receiving. Now, the active voice is so called because the person denoted by the subject acts. So, the subject is acting, it's doing, and whereas passive means it's receiving. A verb in the passive voice, when it forms, shows that something is done to the person or thing denoted by the subject. So I told you the person or thing something is being done to them in the passive voice. And over here subject is not doing anything. In passive voice subject is not doing anything, it's just receiving. So वो passive होता है. मतलब passive means when you are not acting something, when you are not doing anything, you are just receiving. That is your passive voice. And when you are doing something, it's acting, it's active. मतलब जब आप कुछ कर रहे हो, it's active. When you are receiving, it's passive. When you are not doing anything, you are just receiving, it is passive voice. I hope it's clear. So when active voice, subject is doing something to the receiver or something is being received by the receiver. For example, Sita loves Savitri. So Sita loves Savitri. Sita is loving Savitri. The Sita is your subject, love is your verb, and Savitri is the person who is receiving the love. So it's active voice. When you change it to passive, Savitri will become the subject. Over here Savitri was receiving in the active voice, but over in the passive voice the receiver will become the subject. So Savitri will become the subject and Sita will become the object. So Savitri is loved by Sita. Understood? So the subject becomes the object in passive voice and object becomes the subject. Clear? Clear, everyone? Now you will notice that tenses are being changed. When you are changing the sentence from active to passive, there are bit change in the form of verb and the tense. There is a change in the form of verb and tense when you are changing from active to passive. Subject and the object is being changed. वो तो change होता ही है. Subject and object are getting interchanged, whereas there is a change in tense also. When the active voice is in present tense. So when the active voice is in present tense, for example, love. So we'll add the be verb. We add be verb when we change from active to passive. When it's simple present, we just add be verb. Is, are, and am. Is, are, and am. And we also change it into participle form. We change the form of the verb. We change it into participle form. We change it into the participle form. Understood? So when we change from present, a simple present, then we add be form and we change it into the participle form. So the participle form of love will be loved. There's a chart given over there, and we have already studied before also. There's a chart over here. You will go through this chart, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Thank you and have a nice day.